it's hard for me not to express or to extend empathy because I look at people who struggle. It's just like, if you're struggling, not that you know that you need help, you're struggling because you need help. Yo, what up? Listen, welcome to another edition, man. Listen, we got everybody in the building. This is from the heart, the Father's heart. You know what I mean? We got our he said, she said squad. Listen, we about to just merge everything. You know what I mean? To make an impact.
All right.
Listen, we got the squad tonight, man. We got the squad tonight. Y'all ready? What's good?
Oh, yeah, let's do a quick intro. Well, who in the house, right? So
listen,
y'all know Cole Williams in the house. You see the beard, bow. You know.
See, nobody asked you. Nobody asked you about the beard, bro.
Oh, my bad. Listen.
Tasha.
What you think, Tasha? What you say?
Come on, Don. We gotta give
I think I froze.
love, some appreciation.
We're not giving him no appreciation. I'm not giving that beard no appreciation until mine come to, at least my little neckline. I'm not giving him no appreciation. You know what I mean?
Cole, you need a page for your beard. You need to have.
Oh my gosh!
Look, here's what's crazy. Nobody even knows I got on a turtleneck. Wow.
I can't stand you, man. I can't stand you.
Welcome, everybody.
Yo, so listen, Tasha, you in the building. I mean, everybody know, Egypt around the way, but introduce them, introduce her to the squad, man.
My people, Egypt. Look, I needed somebody on here because they try to gang up on me. I'm like, who can I have? Egypt is perfect.
No, I got you.
And they don't want to see us together.
I don't think they're ready.
They're ready.
I'm kind of nervous because behind the scenes, y'all was already tripping.
Look, I just said his name.
Already tripping, man. So we gonna get into it, but we don't have anything to drink. You know what I mean? So Tasha, look, she got her wine. Egypt got her wine. Like, where's your wine at?
I dressed for the party. You know what I'm saying? I just ain't got the wine.
And I got a hoodie. Oh, but you got wine though, Tasha. You got wine though. That's the difference. You got wine. Yo, so Cole, what are we talking about tonight, man? We got the ladies in the building, man. I'm just ready. All my people from my who follows me, man. Listen, the people we got on tonight, man, are some beautiful people that are doing amazing things in the community. Just some dope individuals. Entrepreneurs impacting the communities in their own right, man. And listen, this is not the first or the last. I mean, we never know. This might be what the squad wind up being. Depends on what you guys say, right? So listen, man, I just want to introduce everybody to Egypt onto my page, man. My people over there in Jersey or whatever. This is Egypt, man. She is killing the game, just doing amazing things. On a bookstore in the Flint area, man, called Comma Bookstore. Like, yo, she is hey, see, now listen, why your girl got a mural? Why she got a mural in the city? Listen, she has a mural. You gotta be big if you got a mural.
I can't even. Sometimes I can't even wrap my head around it. I really can't sometimes. Thank you. I'm really excited to be on the podcast. This is a very interesting discussion, and I do think we're going to be covering just a lot of different perspectives on the situation. So I'm happy to be here with my girl Tasha. And I had to come through. I
Yeah.
had to come through.
Let's get it. And y'all already know what Tasha doing, man. She is
Of course.
worldwide. Listen, worldwide, man. So let's tap in. Cole, we started going into it last week, man. And the thing about it, we only were looking at it from our perspective, right? And
Right.
and we gave Kanye, the business, and other people. We talk about domestic violence and all of that type of stuff. But it's I think is extremely important that we hear from, the different perspective, right? From hearing how the women view this, right? And what's going on, because I know I've been seeing a whole lot of stuff on social media. And then, the crazy thing about it, before we get into it, I watched his documentary. And then it almost made me forget about the shenanigans that he's been doing, currently. I'm like, yo, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna stop right there. So, ladies, Cole, talk to me.
Well, one, I don't know if did I freeze?
Yes, you did. I told you. You always got to get one freeze. Your pearly whites.
I'm freezing. I don't know how much I'm gonna get in because I keep freezing. But what our audience doesn't know is who we're talking about. So tonight we're talking about Kanye West, right? And one of the things I put out there is I was like, is it possible to have empathy for a man like Kanye? I froze.
No, but we
For a
can hear
man
you.
like
You
Kanye.
yeah, you can freeze, but your voice is still there, so you can keep talking. You know what I mean? You'll catch
Oh,
up.
okay, my bad. So I think that's the first thing to talk about. Is it possible for a man in the limelight that Kanye is in to be able to? He's. I don't even know how I want to say this. Is it possible for a man like Kanye, for the world to hold empathy for his behavior? That's my thought. That's my question.
All right, ladies.
Why?
Whoa.
No, I'm trying to understand for what reason do we need to have empathy?
Empathy.
And I see Ashley,
So
that's my girl. She said that echoing. So I don't know if whether or not should we, if one person is talking, all mute our mics.
yeah.
Maybe would that
Yep,
help
I
out
can.
with the feedback?
Let's see.
Let me try.
Let's see. So for my question, why should we have empathy for Kanye West and his shenanigans?
All right, so let me say this, right? Because I already made my stance on what I believe and my perspective about it. All right, Jamie says sounds better. Awesome. So, so from my perspective, right, I think we should have empathy. However, I don't agree with his behavior at all, right? And I guess I always go back to when I used to work in a prison. That's my only perspective, where I learned empathy. When I worked in the prison, I went in with the mindset that I'm converting all of these jokers who did all of these bad behaviors into Christianity, because that's what I believe as a Christian. But when I got in there, I realized that wasn't my job. My job was just to serve. And I had to begin to see each one of those inmates, regardless of what they did, I had to see through the eyes of empathy for me to do the work, where I didn't watch or didn't read as many files, because I knew it would cloud my judgment. So I always carry a level of empathy, but still holding them accountable for their behavior. So that's just my perspective.
And you know what? I agree. I think that Kanye was diagnosed back in 2017 with being bipolar. But I also think that there's a level of responsibility that he has to take into account, and so many folks that are battling with mental health have to take into account their own healing. So I think that part of what I guess when I talk about empathy is the idea of someone who is battling or struggling with mental health challenges and issues. If they're not taking care of themselves, being properly medicated, seeking the support that they need around their mental health, how it shows up. And so, do we think that part of what we're seeing as it relates to what's happening to Kanye can be associated with the diagnoses of being bipolar?
Okay. But Cole, didn't you say he was diagnosed what? You said
27,
2007?
20,
Okay.
2017?
2017. So I can have empathy. However, if he was diagnosed, that means he's aware that he has these issues. So my issue with Kanye is now, why aren't you handling that? So why aren't you on your meds? Why aren't you seeking therapy? I have all these type of questions. Like, also the people who are around you who you call friends, why aren't they speaking up and saying something about what you're doing? Like, I can't have empathy for you when you already know what your diagnosis is, and so he's spiraling, but we're all making a joke out of it, not us as in us, but as a people are, they're making memes. I mean, this is one big joke, and it's really not funny. It's
So,
not funny at all.
so let me ask you this question. I mean, you make a very good point. So when does somebody deserve empathy?
See, and I always give grace. I would say it's probably one of the, maybe could be a flaw of mine because I give grace so much. So I have no issue giving grace or empathy, but accountability is so big to me. And Kanye is not taking any type of accountability for his actions or for his diagnosis or for the effects of his behavior on his children. So that's where I think he's losing my empathy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
So,
Jamie said,
so
it's no excuse, known or unknown, is no excuse for his behavior. And, I totally agree, right? I mean, that's something where me personally, where I get upset. I had a conversation with a gentleman who is heavy in the space of domestic violence, and he walked me through that process of what that looked like, because even, I don't know the guy name. I think his name is Pete, and
Yeah.
where he set up a social media page and had to immediately delete it because people
Yep.
started attacking them. Right. So
Yep.
that's, I mean, so that behavior is definitely inappropriate, right? It's inappropriate. And it's dangerous. Right. It's
Yep.
definitely dangerous. But I'm just speaking from the point of where Cole is talking about that empathy. I guess it's hard for me not to express or to extend empathy, because I look at people who struggle. It's just like, if you're struggling, not that that you need help, you struggling because you need help, right? And so it
I
doesn't. Go ahead, please.
hope you
Where'd
got
you
dark.
I
go?
think
Don't worry about it.
There you go.
Don't
You
worry
left
about
for
it.
a second and then you came back. I think too though. So I want to say sometimes I think that when we know people have certain diagnoses and when they encounter a challenging situation and we see their reactions, that we associate it with their diagnosis. But I believe sometimes people are just reacting and having a normal reaction considering the circumstances that you're in. For example, he's going through a divorce and he has children. A lot of the behaviors that he's exhibiting are pretty universal, similar behaviors that you would see with any person going through a breakdown of a relationship. He's hating on his, current wife, soon to be ex-wife, boyfriend, you know, checking on him on Instagram. When I looked just a minute ago, I seen that Pete or deactivated his Instagram page. I mean, we see stuff like this all the time. And I also think that there has to be a certain level of self awareness. Like, I don't think that he's clueless about what he's doing. And as what Tasha was saying, he has self awareness. He knows his diagnosis. he has an unlimited amount of resources because he is financially capable of supporting these resources himself. I just think honestly, what we are witnessing right now is something that is it's normal, but be uh what's the word that I'm looking for? We shouldn't be
Like
accepting these type of
normalizing it.
I
Yeah.
mean, this is just that's just me personally, but because we see, oh, I have bipolar disorder, then what we're
Yep.
seeing is him just going through a state of psychosis or something. And I don't think that's necessarily just the case. I think that he's mad and bitter that his wife is moving on, and he's made it very vocal that he does not want to have a divorce.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to
Yep.
put this up. Katrina, thanks for sharing this. Katrina says she was diagnosed with bipolar back in 2003 and said, and that doesn't mean that she should go off the handle and have people feel bad for her because that she have it. Man, I appreciate you sharing that. That's huge, right? Because of the stigma, and you're absolutely correct. And I think that's why we wanted to talk about this conversation because um, I'm just concerned. Honestly, I'm just concerned of the generation, right? Because it's more. I mean, I don't think it's a whole lot of adults that are just laughing and making light of it. At least in my space, right? It's a lot of the younger generation that I'm seeing that is responding to it as if it's okay, that is normal, and that it's not, there's nothing wrong with it. And I think that's where the biggest issue is, and that's what my concern is. And that's where you know, where I'm having these conversations personally with my children about his behaviors and other people's behavior and things that take place in school, right? Like my daughter went to, it was her weekend to have her birthday, right? This is her birthday weekend. And she went to the skating rink with a whole bunch of girls to have a great time. Mind you, she just turned 14. Why did this little girl want to fight her? My daughter, who is sweet, right? But you know why she wanted to fight her? Over a boy. Because this boy liked my daughter and the girl used to like the boy. Like, are you like, so that's normal for you to want to fight somebody because you like somebody? And
Yeah.
the person's with her was encouraging the behavior.
Yeah. That's normal. So, I mean, I think that's the other part of this. We're talking about Kanye as a point of reference, but the reality of it is all this is normal. This is what
Mm-hmm.
this is the salacious stuff that we see on all of the networks and television shows that get folks riled up, and you sit around and you're laughing about all of these unhealthy relationships and the
Mm-hmm.
drama that is curated from those unhealthy relationships. And that, if I'm at home and I'm a son and daughter of a family member who is watching some of these shows, and I also recognize that not only are they watching them, but I also have been watching them. And I notice that they have unhealthy relationships to the stuff that they're watching and can relate to on television. So then when I go to school, I am going to participate in the stuff that I've been studying from the television and sometimes at my home and in my environment and in my community, because
Yep.
that is the normal reaction. This idea of talking about what's an unhealthy relationship or a healthy relationship, these conversations aren't even oftentimes being had. So we're expecting young people to have the language and the experience to be able to manage an unhealthy situation. These young people are telling me, no, it's normal to go and check for her cell phone and get her password. I
Yes.
should be able
Yep.
to see who she's talking to. And if she's Snapchatting with somebody, I should
Yep.
be able to snatch her up, or
Yep.
or have a young woman say to me, Mr. Cole, I'll snatch him up in a minute. I wish he would talk to that girl. And I'll fight her. So but this has been, I mean, the era of the Jerry Springer era. What was that? The '90s. I mean, this is kicked off since the early '90s when you think about those shows that really kind of exploded in the early '90s, around maybe mid '90s. I'm not for sure exactly in terms of the time era, but this is something that has just grown and grown and grown, and there's the appetite for it. So I
Mm-hmm.
think that that's why we're seeing that sense of normalcy.
It is. We just my husband and I we talk to our older boys because both of them have girlfriends, and that's what we try to. I mean, we try to emphasize that all of this negativity that you guys see on TV and hear in the music, it is not normal. And their father is always like, "Do you hear me calling your mom the B word? Do you hear me yelling at your mom? Do you see her checking my phone? Do you see us check?" We've been married for 19 years and dating for
Say it again.
24
Say it
years.
again. How many
Married
years? How many?
19 years.
Let's go.
Married kids,
Let's
and it's
go.
still good. But we don't do those things. We not checking each other's phone. He doesn't have my password to look at my Facebook messages and all. We're not doing none of that. Because if you got to do that, why are you with the person anyway? But they have normalized all of this, so they think that's what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to be able to do all of this, and we like, no, that's not normal. That's not okay. That's dysfunctional. And somehow they thought they've made up in their minds that if it's no dysfunction, there's no love, and we like, no, that's not
That's
how
good.
this
Say that.
works.
Could you say that again? Could you say that again?
If it's no dysfunction, it's no love. And so it's spread all over.
I had to give you the horn.
So we are constantly. I know we probably get on their last nerve, but we are constantly telling them that this it's dysfunctional. That's not love. It's not. That's not what love is. That's not what love looks like. And you know, it's sad that this whole generation, that's what they think it is.
Yo, and and that's the thing that so let me go back to when you talk about the phone, right? So my wife and I, we both have each other's phone, right? We both have access to each other's phone. You mean, if she want to look at my phone, she can. Right? You mean, but our thing from us personally, ours is like, yo, we don't have anything to hide. Like you can scroll all you want. You can go through. You can you can check the DMs. You're not gonna see anything, right? You know what I mean? So from the biggest thing is like what you're talking about, Tasha, is that whatever your relationship is, you mean it has to be built on trust, and it has to be built on something that is absolutely authentic. If I'm gonna be shook and concerned because my wife is going out with her girls or going away for the weekend or going out of the country with her, and I'm concerned and I'm like, why you ain't call me? And like, yo, it's a problem.
Yeah,
it's a problem, man. And that's my biggest concern. Like, we talking about Kanye, but the people who are laughing at this, it's a lot of our young people, right? It's a lot of our young people who are laughing and thinking that it's okay for somebody to black out on them. And if it's not chaotic, like what you're talking about, yo, they don't love you. They're not feeling you.
Yeah, that's so deeply rooted. It's so deeply rooted. I think we're really just touching the surface on this, because I think what I'm seeing from my field is with working with young people is that their relationships are so transactional. I don't want to go deep, because deep, that's going to generate a source of feelings and emotions, and so it's much easier to have transactional relationships with people, my peers, as well as the adults. So there's a give and take. But that makes me also think about the experience of systems, and how you can be in a system and have learned that you don't have to have a deep relationship. A system can come in and separate a family member that has that deep connection, and then you can have a transactional relationship. And so over time, this system becomes part of that give and take process. There's a give. I need something. I go to the system. It gives it to me. I don't necessarily have to have any of that. And I have a lot of children and families that I'm working with who have been under the umbrella of receiving so many services from systems that when it comes to interacting with the village that is supposed to be nurturing, caring, loving, supportive, all of that, those languages that talk about, or those experiences that relate to trust, I don't want that, So I think that it's so deep. It almost, we talking about Kanye because I want to talk about issues around race and racism and all the isms that come with this, because that's really, if we want to go deep, that's really where some of this stuff is so deeply rooted, as so many of our young people don't know themselves. So it's much easier to identify outside of me than to go within me. And so many of our young people they don't know how to do it. And so I'm like, well, who's teaching them? Who's talking to you not only about identifying yourself, who's even talking to you? You know what I'm saying?
Fade to black.
Talking
She
to
back.
you. Yeah, I thought I didn't want to say nothing.
Yeah, fade to black.
My little eye be shifting and closing, and I'm trying to see.
So,
But no,
so that's real.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Edith,
Anyway.
Egypt. Why don't you? Can you speak to because one of my questions is, Egypt, as a man, right? I was talking to my oldest daughter, 2 days ago about this, about what I was telling her that a lot of times women have intuition. They know if Jimmy, John, or Jake is whack. They know. But somehow justify. Can you please talk to me about that? I need to understand from a woman's perspective of why, and I'm not saying that Kim was, that she saw the signs in Kanye or didn't see the signs. I don't know. But I know the rest of us in the world, we saw a whole bunch of signs.
No, I think that it depends. All of our intuition is different because it's rooted in tools that we have been provided with within our own households. For example, what my model was for a safe relationship or a healthy relationship is totally different now as an adult than I was as a young child. Having grown up in a household where I had witnessed toxic relationships, that can create a sense of normalcy to you. So when you're looking and you're seeing things happening in a partner of yours, you don't recognize them necessarily as signs. Those are just regular occurrences. That's normal. It's not until maybe you get older, if you do have a model relationship in your household, that you can recognize things as being negative traits in a relationship. So I think our intuition is rooted more deeper into just what our models were as children. And that is why so many times, when we hear words in intimate partner violence relationships, well, she should have seen the signs. It's not necessarily so. There could be a power dynamic. Domestic violence, you have the power and control wheel.
Yep,
and a lot of those things happen very subconsciously. You don't sometimes know when it's happening to you. And you sometimes don't know it's happening to you because you don't see those signs. And if they're not taught at a young age, then you become victim. When we're having this conversation about Kanye and Kim, I'm honestly not fans of either of them. I'm gonna be real with you. But when I start seeing these things unfold, I did see some traits that you would associate with intimate partner violence. And it's something that we shouldn't ignore as a society. We normalize it because you see these two large, big celebrities, and Kanye's going off on a tangent all the time on social media. But it's not appropriate and it's not acceptable. And until we as a society start holding people accountable, then we're going to continue seeing these trends happen. We're going to see these comments, and people are going to continue to like these people, and it goes swept under the rug. But I think, just going back to what your point was, intuition is there's a foundation that needs to be built in order for you to have those feelings like something ain't right.
What you say, Taj? Do you agree with that?
I do. Yep. I think it's just what Egypt said. It's based on what you saw as a child, what you were taught healthy love looked like, all of those things, and it all plays a part in what you associate with what looks okay, what feels okay, what doesn't feel okay. Because there's times that I've seen couples out, just out and about, and I'm like, I feel uncomfortable just maybe because of the way a man is handling his woman, and I feel uncomfortable about it, but she seems absolutely fine with it. And so I think it's all in what we have been brought up around.
I'm
Really
just
think
listen.
that part.
I grew up in the 90s during the crack era. You know what I mean? 80s, 90s, during the crack era. And a lot of my dudes, they was getting that cake. And a lot of
Yeah.
the girls who was popular and all that, guess what? That's who they wanted. They didn't want Sean the athlete, right? I was that nice dude, right? I'm playing my video games. Cole, why you laughing? I'm serious, bruh. I was playing my video games. I thought I was handsome, but during that time, I didn't have all of the shell toe Adidas, and the Fat Farm. Yeah, I'm dating myself, right? I didn't have all of that. My mom shopped at J.C. Penney. You know what I mean? So here I was the nice guy, but they wanted my man who lived downtown, who was getting that cake, who had the jewelry, the whole nine. And then they get in that relationship, and you see that my man putting them paws. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
my thing is that sometimes it's like women want that little roughneck.
Yeah.
And I also too think we should also be thinking about the men, because I believe the men are victims as well, because
Oh,
there are a lot of black
Mm-hmm.
households that are raised by single parent households.
Yep.
And when you are missing a role, whether it be the mother or the father, you lose on that experience. You lose on that ability to, learn different roles, to develop certain maternal or even, fraternal instincts, how you develop relationships, depending on whether you are, you are a son or a daughter, you're missing out. And so you're kind of just going through the motions. And when we're looking at this digital age, for example, a lot of children are being raised by social media, and how it permeates so many different facets of your life. And you have these kids who are really just being raised by these personalities. So they're looking and normalizing these relationships, which we know and recognize as toxic, but they don't recognize it because they don't have possibly a figure in their household who can monitor them and show them, no, this isn't right and this is. So I feel like too, with males, most commonly, unfortunately, we have a lot of absent fathers, and that could be for a myriad of reasons,
yep.
right? It could be whether the father's just not interested at that time, or you also have, fathers who are alienated from their children, and so therefore they don't have that opportunity to embrace their fatherhood. Either way, the child loses. And so I've even been watching, just going back to even to Kanye, where I don't know if y'all seen it, but there was something going on social media where he said, I don't know where my kids are at. I'm,
Yep.
I'm not being able to, really
Yep.
properly parent. I got my daughter who's on TikTok. I
Yep.
can't go to the birthday party, which could be for good reason. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
But nonetheless,
Yep.
you have this, he's missing out on having that, probably that control that he was used to, as far as raising his child the way that he wants to. So I feel too
Fade
that
to
we should
black.
also look at. What is that, number 2 or 3?
That's three.
That's
One,
3.
one before we got started.
But I also just think we should start, because we're emphasizing, on women, but I also just, I want to be fair and emphasize with the fathers as well out there, the men as well, because they are victims too. And most times, even if they're perpetrators, as we know, they are victims, because it is an endless, unfortunate cycle. And it's, not common for people to break those cycles. It's possible, but it's not surprising if they don't.
Yep, absolutely. You know that's right down. You know that's right down. That's right down my alley. But at the same time, I love I can't have that type of conversation without holding them accountable as well, right? Because that's huge. Tasha, somebody else, are you trying to come in from something else? Is she frozen? She frozen, y'all.
She froze.
Freezing.
She back.
Oh, there you go.
I've been on Zoom all week and I have not had any issues until I
Listen, guys. She froze and she was sitting there like she was still here, and then the ring comes like. But it's all good. But no, it's just really important, man, that that we hold men and accountable, right? And so I think at the end of the day, what we talking about tonight, as we come to a conclusion, I think we all agree that his behavior is foul, right? It is absolutely foul. We understand that there are some issues that's going on in the home, but the way that he's handling it, I don't think is the best route, especially in public and causing other people harm. And it doesn't even have to be physical, right? It's just the mental. The mental is just as bad as the physical in many cases. And we can't disregard that. We can't laugh at it. We can't dismiss it just because they are celebrities. I mean, they need to be held accountable. And I'm just not going to accept this new normal that, cussing each other out and putting your hands on one another and using fear and talking reckless. I just refuse, to accept that. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's my. It's the it's the it dude giving it back. I mean, I get it. You know what I mean? Hey, that a lot of dudes, man, a lot of dudes, they be on some BS, and I can't, and I won't. I will not deny that. I won't deny that. You know what I mean? I can't say that I was always the person I am today. The Lord had to deal with me. You know what I mean? But you know what I mean? But he worked on me. So do we have a legit or not legit tonight? Edith, this is that part where we do, is it legit or not legit? Tasha always have one in her pocket. You got one?
No.
God. What? Well, I got one. I put mine on social media. I don't, you know what I mean? So.
What you got, Sean? What you got?
The from the other day.
Yep.
What is it? What is it, Sean?
Yo, it was whack. It was whack, yo. My wife, my wife went and got her, got some stuff done, go ask for something to eat. And I'm like, yo, should I bring it? And she never really answered, just going back and forth. So I'm like, well, I guess the way that this is written, that you want me to bring it. So I bring it, and the lady's looking at me like, there's no food in here type thing. So I bring her the food, and the lady like, she can't eat that. And then Leah gonna respond and say, I told you I ain't want it. So my thing was, is that legit or not legit? And so if she on here, she gonna be like, see, you just telling half the story. Nope. So my thing would be, is it legit or not legit for women to say one thing and mean another? Ooh. Cole, talk to me.
Why'd you put that on me, Sean? No, it ain't okay. Say what you mean and stick to it. What you mean? I gotta read your mind, try to figure it out. Then you switch up on me, and you switch up on me in front of somebody.
Thank you, Cole.
No, not with you, Sean. I'm with you.
Now let's hear what they got
I'm
to
listening.
say. Yeah, I'm
listening,
listening
Tasha.
too.
What you got? What you got? I'm
Well,
listening.
first of all, I'm gonna take Leah's side every time because I need to hear her side of the story because I'm sure there's some parts of the story that's being left out.
I knew it.
That's all
I
I'm
knew it.
Listen, the only part of that story that she said she told me that the lady said that she needed to eat first.
So you wasn't listening.
See, that's not true though. That's not true. She didn't say it. Egypt, you ain't right. I'm telling you, that's what she said. She didn't tell me, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
See, Egypt,
I believe you.
Y'all have selective hearing.
So that's what you're trying to make it the legit or not legit. You know, do men have selective hearing? I'm saying that's not legit.
A real question, yeah.
Absolutely. I cannot send Dorian to no grocery store, and I will send a picture of what I need or a brand.
And still,
He's not coming back with everything that I need. I don't even bother doing it.
Yo,
No,
you listen, because we're listening, but this is the thing, is that it's way too much. If you know where it's at, why can't you just go get that? Because because it's going to, I don't know where aisle, you gotta go around this whole store, but you already know exactly where it is. It's easier. Something that's gonna take me 30 minutes, it's gonna take you 2.
Look, so now we gotta go do it. We gotta go.
We
gotta
come home and cook it too.
We gotta cook the food, prepare.
Oh my gosh!
Y'all can even go.
I'm like, dang, y'all can
go down the aisle, ask somebody if you ain't sure. I'm like, why did you just call me?
Listen.
Why did you open? I blame you, Sean. I blame you.
Listen. I tell you, this just happened to me yesterday. I was sent to the store. I asked about 3 workers in Kroger to find the item, and those jokers didn't even know where it was.
No, listen, it's funny.
And don't let it be something healthy.
They just be out of that item. Only when y'all go. Because if we go, they have it. But when we send y'all, they just magically out of it. How come they only out of it?
She said they still call.
I don't understand that.
She said they need a PowerPoint. Katrina, you ain't right.
Just
She's not right.
And sending it
not a PowerPoint presentation to the grocery store. I'm mad.
But that's the thing. Like she would send me for something healthy in this one Kroger, but I'm like, the one in Flint is not set up the same. So now, or they don't even have it. So I done spent Tasha fade to black. So yo, I'm serious, man.
She'll be back tomorrow.
Yeah, she'll be back tomorrow. She'll be back tomorrow. So yeah, she probably maxed it on out. But listen, man, listen, Tasha, you know, you there somewhere. We appreciate, you coming on tonight in Egypt, rocking out with us, man. I say that we got to do this more often and bring some topics, man, so we can hear both perspectives, right? To be able to make a larger impact, man, and have fun on this Thursday evening. But you're not gonna get me next time. I'll be ready for your wine and all that good stuff.
Oh, yeah, you gotta come prepared next time. I'm already done. I need to go back and tap my.
She is done.
Yeah. All right, we gotta step our game up, Sean.
Yeah, we got this. We got this. So listen, man, I appreciate it, man. Appreciate you guys rocking with us. It's been an amazing evening. Listen, everybody, go out there and finish strong. Make it a great week. Love on your family. Love on your friends. Take care of you. Take care of you. Don't just live to exist. Exist to live, man. Till next time.
Come on.